Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast, where Polar interviews people so you can do more investing and less gambling.
Hello everyone, it is Polar here, the CMO of Seasonal Tokens. And today we have another special guest. We have Zach Weiner, a former attorney, corporate executive, and full-time investor. So welcome, Zach.
Thank you, Polar. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much. So first of all, what has attracted you to crypto and crypto investing?
Well, the potential for it to be adopted much more broadly than it's currently been adopted, I think, is a huge benefit. And specifically with Bitcoin, looking at the amount of institutional adoption that it's already had is a tremendous, I think, benefit to that particular type of crypto. You know, it's a $600 billion asset. And just in the last 3 months, we've seen both BlackRock and Fidelity Investments issue press releases that they're now opening Bitcoin as a new investment for their investors and their fund managers. And if you think about it, just those two entities have $13 trillion as assets under management. That's a huge amount. So if just 1% of their assets under management gets diverted over to Bitcoin, that's $130 billion of additional market interest that I believe will continue to strongly drive up the price of Bitcoin. So what I'm particularly attracted to in Bitcoin is the extent to which it's being adopted as a new investment vehicle, a new store of value.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And when I read for the first time the news that these two companies are also joining the party, like I felt like goosebumps, like I felt so well that things are going to happen, like the big bulls are coming and all these guys that have put their life savings in Bitcoin will be finally happy and will finally be able to fulfill their dreams, if I can say that, which is amazing because who doesn't need more happy moments in their life, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, so it's amazing news and I'm sure that things will get better very, very soon. So like you said in your introduction, you are doing real estate investing and also crypto investing. So do you find any similarities between these two types of assets?
Yeah, they both have similarities. They're both appreciating assets, right? So they're both good stores of value. Real estate's a proven hedge against inflation. And for a long time, people were saying, well, Bitcoin's also a hedge against inflation. But as we kind of have seen with this latest bout of really onerous inflation, right? Over here, it's been clipping at like 9.1%. It finally went down just in the latest CPI announcement in the US, the Consumer Price Index announcement, which is why the stock market's been rallying. But as we kind of learned with this latest bout of inflation, Bitcoin's not necessarily a hedge against inflation, but it is a hedge against loose monetary policy. So what we've kind of seen is an inverse reaction to the Fed tightening their monetary policy. But I think, you know, right now it's trading more akin to a tech stock. So if you look at the, you know, Russell 2000 or the NASDAQ or ARK Invest fund, it has a similar charting pattern. But there's a lot of discussion about that decoupling. And I do think that once you know, the Fed starts to stabilize their interest rate hikes, and eventually, you know, they're going to have to start printing money again. That's going to really excel the price of Bitcoin again.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And from what I hear, you are more behind doing crypto, but also real estate. Am I getting you right?
Yes, that's right. So I invest in just those two assets. I'm not really playing in the stock market or, you know, other commodities. I'm really focused on real estate investing and in Bitcoin. So with real estate, you know, that's how I got my start, and it's a very good asset to invest in. But the returns are good. They're good, solid returns over time. And the way I invest in real estate is I look for opportunities where I can acquire the asset, let's say, for example, it's a large apartment building, acquire the apartment building, look for ways to increase the ongoing cash flow. So that's typically upgrading the apartment units and then renting them for a higher monthly rent rate. And that increases our net operating income. So we're increasing our cash flow, and by increasing the net operating income, we're exponentially increasing the overall value of the property. So we're getting very good cash flow while we hold the property, and then we're forcing the appreciation of the property by increasing the cash flow so that we can sell it for a very nice profit. So that's a typical strategy for us with real estate investing. And the returns can be very good. We target an average internal rate of return of at least 14 to 17% a year for our investors. Now, that's very good. But on the other hand, if you compare it to Bitcoin, which is a much more volatile asset in the short term, but in the long term, it's much, much more profitable. The asset's appreciation rate is exponentially higher. So, for example, in the last 10 years, Bitcoin has appreciated in value 218,000%. So on an annualized basis, that's 218% of value appreciation a year. So I think it's important to have Bitcoin in your portfolio, and I'm a big believer in it. So I have a pretty big percentage of my portfolio devoted to Bitcoin. And as I mentioned, we're Bitcoin mining now. So every day we're adding to that holding position.
Okay, yeah. This actually is very connected to my next question. I don't know about you, Zach, but I'm not a very technological guy. I'm more a marketer guy. And I know few things here and there when we talk about technology, but I'm definitely not a technology guy. That's why I stay away from Bitcoin mining and things like that. So my question for you is, Zach, are you a technical guy, or you have found another way to start your Bitcoin mining journey?
Well, I'm not technical in the sense that I can't run my own mining machines, but I recognize that mining is a great way to get into Bitcoin if you can figure out the technical aspect, right? The average cost to mine one Bitcoin, if you look industry-wide, is between $12,000 to $15,000. And if you compare that to the current price, I think Bitcoin's trading at somewhere between $23,000 to $24,000 today. You can see that if you're able to mine Bitcoin, you're getting it at a significant discount to the market rate.